Hey, what up, family? What's going on? It's time for No Picks Podcast.
Good evening, family. Joe, No Picks Podcast.
Chime and Gio back again.
Gio
Thanks.
back again.
Right. Thanks for coming back, G. So, all right, I'm gonna get right into it. All right, so for those who don't know, Philadelphia has inaugurated the first female mayor, and she's African American, right?
Woo
But
woo.
she's black, right? So, taking kicking ass and taking down names, right? So her name is was Sherelle Parker,
Sherelle Parker,
and
yeah.
yeah, she's the 100th mayor of Philly, and she just got inaugurated on January 2nd of this year, 2024. All right, so that's a little bit of background. We're gonna play a clip of her talking, and sound like she about her business. So let's play this, and we're gonna react to it.
All right.
Office signing 3 executive orders, including one that declares a public safety emergency in Philadelphia. Here's Steve Keeley.
The mayor's first act on her first day will likely make many Philadelphians happy, but also, more than a few, extremely skeptical. Trying to end the sense in the city that so many laws simply just aren't enforced.
Car theft, shoplifting, yes, that retail theft and the illegal use of ATVs that diminish our quality of life.
Philadelphia's new mayor announcing she's taking a new approach to some old problems. The constant crimes that have given so many the impression that laws have not been enforced in this city in recent years.
We're going to make our city safe for the people who live here, who work here, and who come into our city from the suburbs and from across the country and from across the world.
And the now world-renowned shameful, sad open-air drug markets, especially in the city's Kensington section. Also a top target for change and enforcement, mentioned both in her inaugural address and written into the mayor's first act in office today, signing an executive order declaring a public safety emergency.
It's developing a strategy to permanently shut down all open air drug markets here in the city of Philadelphia.
And so next, the how and when.
These comprehensive plans will be delivered to my office within 100 days, and the police commissioner will report to my office within 30 days on the status of each mandate in this executive order. I am fully committed to ending the sense of lawlessness that has been so pervasive in our city and bringing back a sense of order and lawfulness.
And so the clock is ticking already on top of City Hall, as new police commissioner Bethel, just sworn in himself, instantly got the first assignment and the first deadline. 30 days to get an action plan in place to clean up Kensington and all those other items in the public safety executive order. So he'll likely be announcing his own executive team real quick, too, and handing out his own deadlines to his own staff as early as this week. At Philadelphia City Hall, Steve Keeley, Fox 28.
All right. So, and as y'all saw, I mean, listen, it seemed like it's might be a new day in Philly for a while. All right. So to start this off, G, you the guest. Let me know what's your thoughts. I mean, what you feeling right now? Is one of the Philadelphians right now.
So I'm torn. In the one sense, right? A part of me is conservative. I do align with some conservative views in terms of just like law and order. You see, she was careful to say order and lawlessness instead of law and order. So I thought that was clever. But overall, so I'm skeptical in the sense of I get it, right? We do need to crack down on crime, but a lot of the crimes she talked about, like protecting people, those crimes don't really hurt people, right? Like the ATV ride, and there are rare instances where it escalates, like the little petty crime that don't really affect like the people in my community that I see right now. The drugs, the question for me becomes, how are you going to do that, right? Because you just introduced a method of dealing with it in which people were given grace, right? So you're talking about treatment and all of this stuff, but then you talk about stopping it. That instantly takes me back to like war on drugs, locking a bunch of people up. Like it has that same kind of undertones. And then the people that are directly affected by that are the people that look like me and you, like, right? The people that live in our communities, the people that grow up like that. So I'm curious to how you're going to deal with it, right? Because it's a problem. It needs to be addressed. There needs to be some laws in placed and enforced. But then also we know that like that kind of prison pipeline that benefits private entities and all of that, there is business that's always going to be happening, right? And even with her, like her tones, there's a game that all politicians are playing, right? That you got to be mindful of. So while I'm listening and I'm like, that sounds good. You about your business. You want to make Philly safe. Is that really what you want to do, or you just want to like put money back in people in private prisons pockets and help facilitate a kind of degradation of African American males and communities so that you can gentrify and appeal it to like other people at our expense?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'll bite on that. That's interesting. Yeah. Some of my thoughts too is funny. I was getting that feeling in my gut. Like, is this gonna be like feeding the prison industrial complex? Are we trying to like criminalize certain things and get more people who look like us, black or brown, in prisons? Like, how exactly are we gonna do this? Right? Like, that I don't want to do. And Pennsylvania, not I mean, Philly too, but Pennsylvania has a history of doing things like this with sending people to jail. Like, remember that judge who was like getting bribes to send youth into jail for like crazy sentences over like stupid stuff, and like they caught him a few years ago, and like this stuff happens more often than we think, you know. So I definitely was there first, but I'm excited to know that something's going to happen though, because for the longest time, I've been telling people like I love my city, but it has changed so much. Like, I love my city. I live and breathe Philly. Like, I'm proud of it. I rep it. Anywhere I go, I say I'm from Philly. I say it proudly. But like, I know that in the past, like especially post quarantine, but even before that, it was already getting worse as far as like crime was increasing. The gun violence has been absolutely ridiculous, and the ATVs. Even if I don't know if how many accidents happen or how many people have been killed or how many bystanders or civilians have been killed by them, but I do know that they're freaking annoying. I was talking to Ty before we got on, being like, "Yo, I'm just tired of these guys bobbing and weaving through traffic, running through stoplights, coming 50, 60, 70 deep, and you got to wait for them to pass and give them time." So I'm excited with Mayor. Is it Summers?
It's Parker. I don't know if
Parker.
it's Sherelle or Cheryl. So don't quote me on that.
Okay, but
It might be
Parker.
Sherelle or Cheryl Parker, like
All right.
Cheryl Parker. I'm not too sure.
Yeah. So Mayor Parker. I'm excited, but I'm also like, how you gonna do this? How you gonna do this? And I am currently in the Badlands. I'm not too far. I'm in the heart of Zombieland. My mother has lived here for 20 years, and now I own property in this area. You know what I'm saying? I'm currently residing it until I move, which is going to be soon. But I see the epidemic as well. I see the fentanyl. I see the zombies. I see the fiends. That library that you can see in the thing. That's across the street from the quick stop that I go to sometimes. Like, I'm there, so I would be happy for them to do something, because what they do right now is just the street sweepers will come through. They'll clean up the trash, the litter, all that. They'll tell them to move their tents. You can't post up out here. But then it's cops on every corner with the sirens on. Nothing happens. Like, the cops are here. I can never say the cops aren't ever around. The cops are literally like on every corner, just sitting in the car with the sirens on to have presence, I assume, just to show like we're here in case things pop off. But nothing's really happened yet. So I'll keep it short for now. I want to be optimistic. I want to believe that there's something they can do to make the city better, make Philly great again, for the residents. You know, not just for tourists. Y'all put all this damn money in City Hall to beautify the shit and make everything look all nice, but our roads is fucked up, crime is up, people killing each other. I'm like, what about the residents, the people who live here? Like, do something for us so we can increase our quality of living. So that's my initial thought. I got more, but where you at, bro?
I mean, listen, y'all should know me, but listen, I love how she sounds.
Ty's like,
I'm here for it, right?
You're like, yeah.
She sound like she's about kicking ass and taking names, bro. Like, he's like, yo, like we need to make things safe again. We need to, you know what I mean, like have we can't have people riding around 18 like her big thing seems to be like, yo, like let's reduce this crime. Like let's create an environment to where like crime isn't so like just like a part of everyday life, right? And they played one of the clips they played was a dude, like he had like a hammer or something. He's like smashing. He's in the store like smashing up a ATM machine. Like, bro, he should go to jail. He should go to the jail to school to prison pipeline. Like, he should go. He should be in there immediately. Like, so I'm not with this. Like, oh well, let's just let everybody. No. The worst ran cities right now, like, are all these democratically led. Like, hey, let's just let people be people. Let's just let them get out of jail. No bond, no bail, bro. They are taking L's out here. Those cities are taking L's. Like, go on Watch any news. Watch news in LA. Watch news in Detroit. In DC, it's horrible. The aldermen in DC are asking for the National Guard to come through and watch stuff.
But so I think that's extreme, right? And I think that's where I say like I'm torn. I don't know if I'm in the earth, and I don't know like where we go. But it's that, right? Like knowing that, but then also knowing that like Republican cities aren't like better, right? Like they still have they safer in the sense of like.
In the sense that you won't get shot in the face. Yeah, I'll take that. You might get they may tax evade me. Listen, cool. I may get scammed. I may get cool. As long as I don't get shot in the face or for a dime bag, I think I'll be cool with that.
We would have to like look at the research, right? Like we would have to look at the Republican led states with like majority black constituents and how like
I'm just talking about the cities that. The cities that are ran by Democrats and they run heavy and they go hard, it could be
she a Democrat.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. I like how she sounds. They don't normally sound like her. Normally, you know how see how Brendan Johnson sounds? He like, listen, they pointed out, like all these kids running around the city doing X, Y, and Z, mobs of kids doing this. He like, whoa. They are not mobs. They are gatherings of people doing things. Like the things that they're doing is cracking people's heads around. So just because like we all want to just play cute and play nice, like okay, these kids are cool, or whoever. But let's not ever send anybody to jail. How about we just get rid of jails and then let's just see what happens.
I think that's the extreme though, bro. Like the other side of it is how do these people become like this, right? Like and so like
I don't want to get shot because your story. I don't care. Like I don't.
All care. Let me. So
listen, you could have been. Let me say this real quick. You could have been raised in the tunnel where Bane was at.
Like in the dark.
You come out and you kill me. Guess what? You should be in jail. I don't care what your origin story is. This ain't a Batman movie, bro. I don't care.
But like that's my thing is like just keep that same energy for the motherfuckers on fentanyl. Like keep that same energy for the motherfucker. Like who's ever like drop. Like so if we gonna have that like law and order like motherfuckers go to jail. So if you do crimes, you're a criminal. Go to jail shit. Do that same shit for little Tommy when he come down here and get caught with heroin and like you sending him to jail by the gram, sending him by the gram in possession. Like keep that same fucking energy because if that's how we doing it like color race not a thing. But that's not how it's gonna be done though, and that's not how we currently doing things. So that's where the skepticism comes from because we know that right now you're currently handling like the Philadelphia as a city is currently handling drug uses as like all right cool if you using it you cool. You selling it, not so much cool, but don't shoot nobody. If you shoot somebody, all right, you gotta go to jail. And I'm like, I'm cool with that. I'm cool with that. Yeah. If you shoot motherfuckers, no, yeah, you can't be shooting motherfuckers, bro. You just gotta go to jail. Like,
what about bashing my head in with a pipe? Is that cool?
No, anything. That's what we talk about, like harm. That's why if we talk about like American politics. We one of the biggest problems with American politics or American criminal justice system is that we are over sentenced for shit that like little petty crimes. So when we talk about all this cracking down on like ATV, I'm all for it. All right, give a motherfucker a fine, like suspend their license, do something.
I agree with that.
Do all that shit, but don't send a motherfucker to jail. Like if we catch you with an ATV, you going to jail for 2 years, and it's like, damn, how does this benefit?
That's excessive.
So. But we've seen that to our people, and then on the other side, you see that like there's this soft handling. There's like, oh, you're addicted to fentanyl. Okay, well listen, this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna give you a safe serve site. We're gonna give you needles. Listen, my son's soccer team, and I know I've just been talking for a couple minutes. My son's soccer team, they got we were petitioning to get a field down 12th and Cumberland, right? So we trying to get a whole full-size football field so that one we can host games, do all this stuff. Like we got to travel hours out, all that, right? So they the people that were getting some of the funding in the city, they said that we couldn't do it because like the space was limited, and then they made this like expensive ass bathroom, right? The bathroom has Narcan fucking canisters in the bathroom and outside of it. One, Narcan is a brand name pharmaceutical. It's expensive. Two. That's not even where they do that at. Like that's not even like Kensington or nothing. This is more like down 12th Street. You got to go past like 5th Street for more of that shit. Long story short, that's the priority though. Like you'll soft handle that shit. You'll put Narcan in the city so white motherfuckers can use drugs. To be honest, like motherfuckers can use drugs and not overdose. But then when it comes time to like actually be soft-handed motherfuckers that's dealing with drugs because they've been in poverty their whole life, or they got a fucking whack-ass education system, whatever.
You love the goddamn origin story, bro.
You got to.
Bro, you love
because you cared about the origin story over there. You didn't care about the origins.
I don't care about the white people either doing the fucking. First of all, G, but listen, let me say, you being disingenuous with this shit though, because when crackhead, you don't lock crackheads out for being crackheads.
No, they did, nigga. They did. That's what that's the problem. They did. They like possession. If you had crack on you, you was going down, nigga.
You went to jail.
You were a criminal. There were so many fucking fiends that were in jail because they had crack possession.
Oh, I mean, listen. So
that's the war on. It was the war on drugs.
Also intent to distribute or just possession?
No, if you got intent to distribute, it got more. But like you could go to jail. It was motherfuckers that was like did jail. They like yo, like no, I did crack.
So what drug are they doing now? That's making all those white people look like that on Kensington.
It's heroin. So it starts with, and this is it starts with opioids, bro. So opioid, that's like the fucking. It's, you know, I did study chemistry for a little bit, so yeah, it's the same, basically like the same chemical structure. So it's heroin, dope, like I'm sorry, it's opioids. Opioid is like the root, right? Opioids are you can prescribe opioids in the pharmacy, like a racemic mixture or a similar chemical like that can fit the same receptor site. Next is heroin. And within that, like opioid, that fucking tree is like little variations of it. It's just that's all like the fentanyl. That's all shit. It fits your pain receptor sites and how much like it fucking numbs you to the shit.
Joe,
but it's all the same shit.
Right. We kind of dominated the conversation.
No, you're good. I've been just following it back and forth and listening. I think what I gathered from Gio, and I kind of it's some of my reluctance to be excited about all this too. Like I want to be, but like I'm also like, how are you going to do that? Because are we going to, put the hammer down heavily on minorities and be a little bit softer on, the white community? Or are you going to keep the same energy for different racial groups and different demographics? Like I don't know how to do this, right? And I also don't want to toss people in jail for bullshit, right? So. I don't know, man. It's funny. He said the origin story. Ty, this is what I'm gonna say because I think that's a hilarious comment, but it does matter, bro. Because we're even sitting here, like I said, when we're talking about politics, they it's like the things that Mayor Parker wants to do. These things only address they don't address the source. All these things that are happening are symptoms of of something deeper, of something that's deeply rooted in our culture, in our city, and nationally as well. But let's keep it local. But if you just address the symptoms, if you just put a Band-Aid on top of a cracked dam, it doesn't really fix the issue. You might get temporary relief. You might get a couple weeks, a couple months of maybe reduced crime, but all that's going to come back because it's like a virus almost. Wherever it's coming from, it's going to keep spreading. It's going to keep, it's going to keep going around. So my thing is like, are we actually attacking the source of all these problems when we're going after the increase in petty theft, the looting, the rioting? You know what I mean? Are we actually attacking the source? Because if not, then we're doing all this shit and putting people in jail and probably using tax dollars to do all of this. That's never going to solve a problem, bro. That's my thing. That's my concern.
We got to start somewhere. So
I agree.
You got to start before we like, hey, you know what? All right, like if your dad has like a large gash, you don't be like, hey, you know what? Let's make sure the kid eats his goddamn his vegetables and shit. Like you got to stop the bleeding on the dad. Like how about we just like stop, get our little ace bandage out, put the little powder stuff on there. I don't know, G, you could probably tell me what that's called. The powder stuff. Bro, like you got to stop the bleeding. I think that's where it begins. So whoever you have to, listen. The origin stories I don't care about. If Timmy, is a trust fund baby from a white neighborhood, let's say Abington, and he uses all his money and spends it all on meth or whatever and do whatever else, and then he ends up here robbing somebody, throw his ass in jail too. I'm not a colorist, bro. I just don't want to get shot in the face. That's my whole thing. So, don't shoot me in the face.
My question is, dude, should drug users and drug dealers, so non-violent drug dealers and non-violent drug users, should they go to jail?
I think so, yeah.
Both of them.
I think if the drug is illegal, then yeah, they should go to jail. Both of them.
Both of them equally. One is not more.
It should depend on the quality of drug, the quantity of drugs that you have.
Right,
There should be levels to it. Because if I got one just to get high for a couple of days, and this dude got enough to supply the whole block, he should go to jail.
But he's an entrepreneur.
Oh.
Like what? Like what's his crime?
We finished.
I think
we're done on this one, bro. Like, I think we're done here. Like entrepreneur.
What's his crime?
Is a pimp an entrepreneur?
Yeah, nigga. Yeah. And a hoe is a fucking a contractor.
And that's a contract. Yeah. I mean, we're talking about sex worker now. I mean, the pimp is sex worker.
Illegal. But the illegal operation is still. But guess what? The head of the mob is a goddamn entrepreneur. But guess what? He should go to jail.
But that's what I'm saying. So, like, because we've had that instance. So, you got drug dealer friends, right? Or people that you grew up that sold drugs. Them motherfuckers say the first thing you tell motherfucker if they catch you with drugs, like, yo, I use them. So then, how much? Like, you get what I'm saying? But
right.
then if
how about this? We could lower the prison rate, right? By with nonviolent drug use. I think the cops should do what our parents did. Hey, you know what? You get caught with a pack of cigarettes, smoke all 32 cigarettes right now.
Smoke all. Yo, we got Narcan. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Do all these drugs right now, drug dealer. And listen, did we let you
gonna die?
Yo, listen. Say, bro, you want to go home? Listen, you want to go jail? You want to go home?
Because we care about your origin story, do this whole brick of coke.
I'm with you, bro. And listen, you want to go jail? You want to go home?
Something has to happen. It's getting worse, and there needs to be. I see. Like I said, Ty, I don't disagree with you because I know that. Like I said, once again, there's a sense of urgency. Like we have, like shit has only gotten worse post quarantine. And remember, when quarantine came out, within like 2 months, we already hit records for homicides. I mean, after quarantine came out, there was all that looting that happened as well. There was so much happened when we came right out of quarantine. It's like people had lost their fucking minds. But something has to happen. I don't know what. Like I said, I just worry, man. I just worry that it's going to be that the justice is going to be for like certain people. That justice is not going to be consistent. It's going to be funding more tax dollars into some shit that might not even fix the problem. And like I said, my only thing is we're attacking the symptoms, bro. Like I wish we could really get to the source of what this really is. But I do feel like we need to act now and do something though, because doing nothing is just going to get worse. So I'm with you on that. I'm definitely there with you.
And I agree with y'all. I definitely agree. Like I'm living in the city, and then just the dangers of it, right? I got kids, teenagers that gotta travel in the city, so I'm all for like reforming the city and cracking down on the crime. Motherfuckers need to know like it's casualties of it, especially for violent crimes. But I think that the energy should be put into to instead of like violent crimes and then little petty crimes that are a nuisance, right? Instead of nuisance crimes, it should be violent crimes and then systematic issues that are driving these violent crimes and petty crimes and all of that. So like instead of taking the money and being like, oh, we're gonna like put all these ATV people on them. Listen, I'm annoyed by the ATV shit. But if you ask me as a citizen with my tax dollars, do I want you to take my money and put it more into cracking down on people on a small percentage of the citizens in the city being riding on ATVs, or put it into the fucking education system so that the next generation has a better chance of becoming successful? I'm gonna say go over here. I'll deal with the nuisance.
Listen, I love your way of thinking, G, but listen, there are still a whole generation of motherfuckers that can shoot me in the face today.
Why would they shoot you in the face? Why would they shoot you in the face?
I don't know. Youngins don't care, man. They built different.
No, because they don't have like they don't. Why they built different?
But bro, okay, you're preventing the future generation from shooting me in the face, which I appreciate. I love it. I don't want to get shot in the face in any generation, but this generation still shooting me in the face.
No, yeah. So I said crack down on violent crimes. Anybody like violent crimes, bro? Like all that, like all that you getting like arrested for fucking a shooting this week, then you got released on parole, and then you come out and you fucking you got a domestic call. Like, nigga, if you just don't know how to keep your hands to yourself, go to fuck to jail, okay? If you don't know how to like not put, right, listen, yeah. So
at least there's a line with you. At least
there's a line. There's a line. There's a line. Listen, I'm so it's constitutional, baby. Every human being should have the right to the pursuit of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, right? And so I'm all for that, and that includes not being fucking bashed in your head for like fucking walking down the street and owning a cell phone.
All right, so
Yeah.
Yeah.
we should wrap it up soon. But I do want to finish with this, right? So there's a theory. It's called the broken windows theory. Have you ever heard of it? It's like it's
Yeah.
what Rudy Giuliani did this shit, and when he was the mayor of New York, all those years ago, whatever, right?
Mm.
It's basically like, um, he instructed the police department to crack down on minor offenses, right? So it was like all petty stuff, like whatever, all the petty stuff, not the big giant murder and drug trafficking and all that stuff. It was like he like hey he made the city scared, like damn, like he's cracking down on not Jay Wall. It wasn't as petty as that, but it was like what was one of the crimes? It was like petty theft,
Mm.
not car theft. It was like when you break into cars and take stuff out of it, not stealing a car, but stealing stuff out of cars. That was one of them.
Mm.
It was like basically the cops came at the people that were doing all the petty stuff, and it scared the people of New York from doing more serious things. So they're like, damn, if these motherfuckers get in trouble for doing this, we should probably chill doing that. They had the New York during Rudy Giuliani's. That's why he had so much. That's the only thing he ran on. And when he ran
Yeah.
for the president, like, hey, I had the lowest crime by any New York mayor in like 50 years or something like that. It was like it was like a really really crazy stat and impressive. And
Right.
I mean that was his whole like, hey, let's punish the small stuff so people won't even think about doing the serious stuff. And for his tenure as mayor, New York saw like record levels of low crime. So I mean, I'm not saying that should be, but I'm saying maybe that's something that we should think about.
I, and okay, so yeah, we definitely will wrap it up. But what comes to mind is that America has the highest population. America incarcerates the highest percentage of its population than any other industrialized country, than any other developed country.
Maybe
We
we
just
more
like to lock.
violent. Maybe we more violent than every other country.
I'm just, I'm
Nah.
just, I'm just saying
I
we
know
like
that's
we
what
like to lock up our
that's
people.
what motherfuckers in England think. When motherfuckers in England be talking about us, you watch, they be like, bro, these Americans, like, fuck wrong with them. Why can't they just get guns off the street? We ain't got guns over here, blah, blah, blah. Like, they be like, yo, these motherfuckers is violent.
But that's part of the culture, though. We talked about the gun culture a while back, and Jill was asking that conversation too. Like, we just have this fascination, this obsession with the firearms. You
Yeah.
go to Japan. There's not even trash cans around because people don't litter. There's no police walking around because crime is virtually it doesn't even happen. If it does happen, bro, it's virtually non-existent. You know what I mean? Like, they have honor. They have a culture where they respect and honor to your family. Like, they have values. You know what I mean? As a country, they can. I mean, they're a much smaller country, but I'm just saying, like, it just in other places they don't have the same issues that we do. So it's like we have a culture. Our culture creates these problems, and then we just want to crack down on these problems and incarcerate our population who are just living in this environment that they're in and embracing this culture, the gun craze, all that shit. You know what I mean? I kind of feel like we're creating some of these problems, and now we're trying to address them. But it's like, but we started the shit. We created the shit. I don't know, man. I'll just say I'm optimist. I hope something changes. I'm in zombie land right now. I really hope that they do something because it's sad seeing what these fiends dancing, walking around, skin falling off their arms, their limbs, and shit like that. Like, it's sad. The fires all around. They start fires to keep warm at this time of the year. So I want to stay optimistic, but I don't know how much people are going to do, man. I feel like Mayor Parker's talking a big game, but it's not going to be as much. It's not going to be like she's not going to crack down as hard as I think she is.
Right.
I don't think so. I hope something changes though. So, any final thoughts for Gio on this? Like,
No, I'm good, bro.
everybody
we'll
good?
see.
All
We'll
right,
see.
family.
Yeah.
So if y'all in Philly, let us know how you feel about Mayor Parker. Shout out to the first black woman mayor in Philly. Shout out, I remember when John Street got elected years ago, and that was an exciting thing. Now we got a first black mayor, a woman. So shout out to her. I hope she does great. I wish her success. And let us know what you guys think. Is this good? Do we need this? Let us know what you think, Philly. Show some love, like, subscribe. We on the move. We on the grind. And until next time. All right, y'all.